You are listening to the Gritty Podcast, where we talk about all things gritty. Welcome to the Gritty Podcast. I'm Brian Call. Today, we're at the Western Hunt Expo, and my guest is Drew Miles, Tricer. We're in the Tricer booth here, which is a destination. Wait, is it Drew or Patricia?
Dude, I'm wearing my mother-in-law's tag this morning. I can't find mine. It's somewhere. It's been a rough weekend, dude. I
look down at the badge and I'm like, Patricia. Okay.
I don't drink, but I feel like I have a hangover.
Yeah.
That's what this thing does to you, this show, Western Hunt Expo, man. It just beats you up. Your voice is gone. You're tired, and your brain is like mush, which I mean on this thing.
It's a long few days of just intense talking from morning till dark. Shaking hands, meeting people, sharing information. It's rough. It is rough. And you got to put your foot on the gas because you only got these 3-4 days and then it's over. And, so there's no time to rest.
No, man. And
Did you get suckered into drinking last night and going someplace? And
I don't drink, is what I'm saying. I'm still smoked. I couldn't even imagine some of these guys that come out here and like party and they come back. I don't know how they do it.
I don't either.
I don't even know. I didn't go to like 11:30 for a banquet last night. I'm smoked. And then, dude, like you said, like they gave us, like we're in like probably the worst location of the show, but we're like Tricer's like a destination for this show. So our booth has been wall to wall people 10 foot deep trying to get in here and buy stuff. And we've just been products just going, we're just refilling our inventory. It's just, I'm so shocked, like how big the brand has gotten and how popular the brand has gotten. It's super humbling.
Oh yeah. I mean, it wasn't that long ago. I got like, a little like head that I could screw some trekking poles into.
Yeah.
It wasn't that long ago, dude.
Dude, talk about losing money. I still have a case of those in my shed. I'm like, and they're not worth anything because no one wants to buy them. But
yeah, for backstory, I remember this is when I lived out there in Fruit Heights area. And I remember getting in the mail, it's a really good packaging that was dialed in. And then it said Tricer on it, which was cool, and the logo. And I opened it up, and there's this machined like tripod looking deal without legs.
Yep.
And then it looked like I could add my cool trekking poles, to it, and then you have a tripod where you didn't have to pack an entire tripod, which seems kind of like a good idea. And then when you put it in practice, it's like, I hate this thing.
Yeah. You have to like I always say, like I didn't go to college, but I've had some really expensive schooling because of mistakes I've made. Right.
Right. Yeah.
But like, I think that's what kind of sets a good entrepreneur apart from like somebody who just quits is like, is a willingness to fail and learn and you know what I mean? And grow. And like everything I do is just always like building on the next thing. Right. And you see that with my products, right? Like I'll create a product and then a few months later I have another product and they're like, I guys in your history, like, dude, like I can't believe I bought the freaking BP and 3 weeks later the DZ came out. And it's like, well, I can't tell you everything I'm doing, but like everything just builds. So you have to learn from your failures and your successes and just grow off it, right? So like, beginning of Tricer, some very expensive mistakes, right? And then also some very expensive marketing mistakes, like using the wrong marketing companies. And you just constantly learning, but growing from it and just makes me a better businessman,
Yeah, but your tripods are on a level beyond everything else that I'm seeing out there on the market. The heads, the tripods themselves, especially for hunters, for this backcountry hunters, but just everyone. They're unlike everything else to such a degree that you're leaving the competition way behind. Now, how? You're just some dude without a degree. Hello, friends. We had a great, gritty movie night at the Hunt Expo. Now it's time to release the film for everyone to see. It'll be here March 9th, along with a huge giveaway we're doing with a bunch of gear and a fun, cool activity. Not only do you win a bunch of gear, but you're going to fly out here, hang with us at the Wild Arrow Archery Shop. Jay is going to put your bow together. Jeremiah is our star of the film. And it's going to be a great experience. You get a workout over at Black Flag. It's going to be fun.
Join us on the Gritty Podcast.
You could win it all. We're going to share those details when we drop the film on March 9th. Hope to see you on our Gritty Films YouTube channel for that drop. Now let's get back to the show.
No, man, I'm just making common sense products. You know what I mean? And like people come in the booth and like, we want to go look around. I'm like, I'm actually excited. I'm like, yeah, please go look at the other tripods because every other booth you go to, they're all going to look identical because they're all buying the same photography tripod and putting some antlers on it and calling it a hunting tripod. And we're just doing a little bit differently. Like we're not taking like none of my stuff. You can't find my stuff anywhere in this show or anywhere in the world because it's custom made to hunting for a hunting standpoint, right?
Yeah.
Like we're actually going into the photography space right now. We're actually crushing with women in photography.
Really?
Yeah, dude. Like all of a sudden I picked up like all these like smoking hot cowgirls. I couldn't figure it out. And like, oh yeah, the algorithm just picked up like cowgirls or like loving our stuff.
Of course, because they got a horseback ride, weight matters, you know?
So we're crushing the photography space, but we didn't come at that from a photography standpoint, we came at it from a hunting standpoint. So if you want to use my stuff for photography, yes, you can. Like we're using it right now. You guys using it in the field. It works great for that. But it's always built on a hunting standpoint, right? Like what can make me a better hunter? What can make me a better glasser? What can help me to sit in the glass all day long and enjoy it?
Now, folks have been chasing lightweight for a really long time, you know, in the hunting space, like lightweight tripod, lightweight head. I remember back in the day, outdoorsmen, you know, getting a little head here and tripod and all that. That was kind of the cat's meow a decade ago. And it would, but with that, it seemed like it didn't come with all the stuff that we got now. Not only do you have lightweight, but you have better performance. Yep. You have, you know, the head is the heads that I can choose from. They're incredible.
Yeah. I mean, I will say this about outdoorsmen because I don't want to like cause any trouble. Like,
I'm here to
like I stand on the shoulders of outdoorsmen. Like I ran their stuff forever, and they make like those guys kind of pioneered this, right? Like glassing really did come out of like, you know, Jay Scott, Cody Nelson, Dark Colburn, like all these guys like trying to find a way to get optics. Like when the 15s came out, like we had to figure out how to get these things stable because you couldn't glass off hands, and those guys kind of really did pioneer it. And then I think that's how innovation works, though, right? Yeah. I mean, like we used to have flip phones, and then now we have iPhones. Remember, the first iPhone is nothing compared to the iPhone I have now. Like, we literally can just I run my business off a phone, you know?
It's like that, too, where, like, the way I can edit now with the software and the computers, I couldn't do 5 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
Couldn't do 10 years ago, especially, like, and now as the technology has advanced in the manufacturing, for example, you can now create some things that they couldn't have done back then.
Oh, 100%.
And it's really easy to sort of, you know, once you got a thing down to kind of stay there when you're ahead of everybody, when technology is changing so fast, manufacturing is changing so fast that, you know, ideas and designs change. And it's like, wait, and I've learned this over the years is, if you want to continue to be among the best, you have to innovate all the time.
All the time.
You have to always be learning the latest and the greatest stuff. So I'm always like new computer, new cameras, like new software, new ideas. Because if I don't, I'll get left behind pretty quick. And I don't want to be there. So I've kind of taken on that responsibility as I got, you know, I think it was, I was in IT right out of college and worked for a big accounting firm, and we did these IT audits, and I could see those IT people who stayed cutting edge, like your Elon Musk type, you know, they're always whatever's new and embracing it and learning it and moving on. And when they're a year or two ahead in like AI, for example, playing with that space, and others chose not to, they can't catch up.
Yeah.
And then you get washed out and other people take your place. And so it's a competitive world out there.
Yeah, man. And like I had this conversation with my partners recently. They're like, "Oh, we're kind of worried this guy might start making our stuff." And I always tell them like, I'm not worried about it. Like if people start copying me, that's fine. But like people don't understand where my head's going. Like I'm like 6 tripods ahead of where I am right now still, right? Like we're coming out with such new technology and doing it. Like I welcome people to try that. Like that's what innovation comes from. Like I am like one of the most competitive people you ever met when it comes to this. Like I'm not the best hunter, dude. Like I'm not you. I'm not Ryan, right? I've never been like I was never on the all-shooting baseball when I play baseball. But when it comes to freaking tripods, like I'm the best in my mind, right? And I want to be the best, and I love it, right? So like I'm constantly innovating, right? And like we'll get into some of these new products, but like some of the technology coming out, like with our hexagon legs, like don't think I'm stopping with 2 tripods with hexagon legs. Like there's going to be some very high-end glassing tripods coming out within the next year that use this technology because it's just that good, right? And I just keep expanding on it, right? Like we created on the DZ head, I have one right here. So we created this like this lockout system, right, for locking in quick lock on the Arca.
Mm-hmm.
And that was just on this head, but now this has been transformed into like our new Tricer Go product. We put it onto, we use the same technology on all of our new shooting heads, right? They have that on there.
Mm-hmm.
And then we also put it onto the new Bipod we're going to talk about. So like, just because I create one thing, we actually were to convert the same technology into a pick adapter as well. We just kind of roll it into other products and you just keep evolving and keep going. And yeah, I mean, like being stagnant kills a business,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like I want to continue to grow and expand. And I think that there's this thing with entrepreneurs where like you're never satisfied, like a good entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Like for me, it's not about the money. Like it's not at all. Like that's what people don't understand. Like when like a big VC comes and buys a company, all they see is like dollars and cents.
Yeah.
And for me, it's like I want to build like the most awesome hunting stuff in the world. And I want people to come to me and be like, dude, I bought your new shooting tripod and I'm just winning PRS matches now. And I'm shooting 2% better, right? Because your weight, your technology in that thing. And I got your tripod and I shot an elk at, like I was telling me, off an LP, he shot an elk at like 480 yards.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like, that's what I get off on. I like that the most.
Me too.
It just drives me.
It's like on the film side of things, I'm like, I want to outdo whatever I did last time.
Yeah.
Tell a better story than I did the last time. Or just one that, you know, it's always pushing it to try to reinvent it and be creative with it. It doesn't feel like work to me because I'm addicted to it. I can't wait to get there and figure it out. It's like
Mm-hmm.
a puzzle and it's so rewarding and it's not about the money for me either. I made a lot more money doing other things.
Yeah.
I hope in the long run it nets me more income. That'd be nice, but that's not like, that's such a small part of my motivation for what I do that I don't think a lot of people can keep up with me in making good outdoor hunt stories. And I think it's because I do it whether I'm making great money or not, because it's about what I love to do. And that's that's so different than someone who's like, well, I got to get to work today or I don't make any money.
Mm-hmm.
That's just not, when I wake up, I'm like, oh yeah, this idea that I've been carrying for like 3 days. I can't wait to like execute it and see how it turns out. And the next idea, it's always going. And so I get up early in the morning because I slept in the morning. I get this brilliant idea, kind of like it just happens, like half awake, half asleep.
Yeah.
And I go up there and then I start doing the thing and I'm like, oh, that was genius, you know?
Dude, my poor partners, I'll be texting them at like 4 a.m, like, dude, I got this idea. And they're like, bro, like settle down. They're not replying to me. So I'll just keep texting to myself over and over and over again, you know? But like, that is one of the things, man, like learning that balance, like the quality of life. Like I'll never go back to, like I quit my job last year, worked for my dad, and I've been doing this now. The quality of life is phenomenal. It is kind of like, there is this weird balance. Like, are you ever talking to your wife and your wife looks at you and she's like, or she's talking to you and she's like, you're not paying attention to me.
No.
I'm not even listening.
Yeah, that happens too often.
It's very hard to turn this off because I'm having so much fun, right? Like, I'm trying to learn this balance between like hunting all the time, hanging out with you guys, and being a father, being a good guy, like I'm on the board of my church and being a pastor, like trying to like learn this balance. And it is difficult to turn that off because like it consumes you, right? And then what makes a great entrepreneur is it consumes you, right?
Yeah, and pretty soon your hobbies are, if you're not careful, like 2 things,
Exactly.
and you're like, you have nothing else that you do, and your spouse, your wife kind of will come along and like mine resets me. She's like, dude, there's more to life, you know, than work all the time. And
but when it doesn't feel like work, it's hard to say that.
It is, especially when I don't want to just watch a movie or go, you know, on this family outing for 2 days. The whole time I'm there, I'm having a hard time not pursuing that goal I have. And yeah, it's gonna always be a challenge, always to stay. You know, you're always gonna slip out of balance and then try to fix it and slip out of balance. And then as long as you're like kind of working at it, life's like I'll go so hard onto hunting that I drop everything in my life. You know, trying to accomplish something over the month of September or whatever.
Which you did this year.
Then you come back. Yeah, it was all of like August and July too. It was a little
like
excessive.
You were on a long time with that bull.
And all the preseason too. I went up there so many times with Brad and so much time spent. And it's, my kids, they didn't see me for like 3 months. Once I got the tag, it was like, that was my focus. And yeah, it's always going to be hard, but without being obsessed, you don't end up with something like Tricer.
Mm-hmm.
And, I read that book, Cam's book, I think it was Endure, but it's kind of more like obsession.
Mm-hmm.
You can't be at certain levels like Jordan or Kobe Bryant if you're not somewhat obsessed.
Oh, dude, Jordan's like one of my idols, like watching how, like he's just so driven.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, like you said too, you talked about like meeting this goal. And the problem is like with me and you guys like you or Jordan is it's such a moving goalpost. It's not really a goal. Cause like once you achieve that goal of like that great film, you're like, I could do better.
As soon as I get the movie out,
it's like,
I'm already on to the next one.
Yeah.
And I think, I can't wait to get this thing out and see it. And it lasts like 24 hours. And I'm like, yeah, you're absolutely right about moving the goalpost, but I think that's because dopamine and you're like seeking the chase.
It is where I get it.
And so when you get it, you're like, well, I like the pursuit.
Mm-hmm.
The actual thing, I think we don't realize how much we're not interested in.
Mm-hmm.
It's the journey, not the destination.
Yeah. And I obsess, right? So like, I feel like in the hunting space, like we're king of the mountain, like hunting tripods, glass tripods, king of the mountain. And now I'm like got into the shooting thing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm building PRS guns. I'm shooting PRS matches, doing NRL matches. We're the official tripod of NRL. And I want to do the same thing I did in the hunting space, in the shooting space. Cause like you'll see posts where I always said like, don't play for second place. Like every one of my boxes have 1 Corinthians 9:24 on it. It says, for don't you know that all who run in a race run, but only one achieves the prize.
Say that again.
For don't you know that all who run in a race run, but only one achieves the prize. Run in such a way that you achieve the prize. That's like my life Bible verse.
Yeah.
Right. So like, I want to go into the shooting space and like, my goal is never to hurt my competitors, but like, I want to be better than them. Don't get me wrong. Like, I want to be king in that space. I don't want to go, like, I'm never going to go in the shooting space and be like, okay, we're Tricer, but we're not as good as RRS. Like, they're kings, right? Like, I want to go and be on that level with those guys, right? Yep. And I want to compete with those guys or Leophoto or these guys in that space, right? Or like the new Bipod. I want people to pick it up and I want them to say, this is the best Bipod in the world.
Yeah.
And that's my goal.
Which we need to talk about. So we let's go through some of these, some of the most innovative stuff you've got going on here.
Yeah.
Especially the new Bipods.
Dude, the Bipods, we put them on pre-order 6 days ago. I think we sold 800 of them so far on pre-order.
Jeez.
The only way you can get a discount on these things is code Gritty. So keep that in mind if you guys want one. The new Bipod, I wanted, backstory on the Bipod. I've been trying to build a Bipod for 5 years.
Yep.
And everyone, make a Bipod. But I'm like, I can't do it unless it's going to do what I need to do, which is like go from prone to kneeling and be lightweight, right? Because for me, like, I have pick bipods, I have Arca bipods, I have stud bipods, I have long bipods, I have short bipods, I have bipods I work with, like the Atlas bipods. I've got a palette of bipods, but whenever I'm in the field, I never have the right bipod, right? I always have like the long one, but then I need to go prone, or I have the short one and I need to go, and then I'm stacking backpacks. And I'm like, you've done that, right? You got 3 backpacks set up and you're trying to shoot uphill, and
I've yet to find a tripod that does what I want without weighing 1,000 pounds.
The bipods. Yeah. Yeah. 100%. So that's where the Tricer RP came in. And it's funny because this doesn't look anything like it, but I got, some of those Hoyt Ghost Sticks last year on my Hoyt bow. And it has like just this design right here on it. And I was like, oh my gosh, I got it. And that clicked this whole thing off for me. It was just like, it kind of hit like attack event last year.
Yeah.
So the Tricer RP, it comes with a pick head. It comes with an Arca head.
Yep.
It comes with a swivel set to pick adapters. You can convert any of your rifles into safe, even Grandpa's old, Model 72 pick. It comes with long legs. It comes with short legs. It comes with spiked feet, and it comes with rubber feet for $299.
Jeez.
It weighs anywhere from 11 to 15 ounces, and it truly does it all. So if you're shooting prone, right, you're like this. Then you want to go to kneeling, 2 buttons, and you're kneeling, right? So give you some examples. Like we've just been putting piles of animals on the ground this year with this thing, and it's so quick to use. So like last week I was in Mexico and I had a Coues deer, and it's 300 yards from me, but I'm on a hill, like laying this way, if it makes sense. I'm laying on the side of the hill, shooting along the hill bank. So I lay down, crack this they have a one knob, converts the pan and the camera rifle level, 300 yards, and just watch that buck drop in its track. Both shoulders, dude, boom. Like rock solid.
Yeah.
My kid shot a buck at 385 off. My partner shot a buck at 340. I was with Shed Crazy down there in Mexico. Same bipod. Now the buck is 45 degrees up, 420 yards. So Bennett puts in the first position, drops the legs right here. Now he's still prone, but he's able to have that angle. And he freaking drops and stones this buck, dude, at 420 yards. Stones the buck. Another one. I mean, I was on a antelope hunt this year. And this is how I justify me hunting all the time. My wife uses the term gallivanting. You're gallivanting around. And I'm like, no, I'm working.
You're right.
Right. But you can't I can't design this in a lab.
You cannot.
You have to be in the field using it. Right.
Yeah.
Like my antelope, I'm laying prone like this at 500 yards. But now I have this freaking film crew with me everywhere I go, right, to film these hunts. And they're like, shoot them. And I'm like, dude, I'm doing this 30-06 and we're only shooting 30-06 for every animal this year.
Yeah. And
I'm like, I can make the shot all day long, but I'm like, my whole point is like, I want to try and get these animals within like 200 or 300 yards. You know what I mean? Like kind of prove that you could do that. And so I'm sitting there prone like this, and I look to my right, and there's a doe antelope 30 yards to my right, and that buck just boom, picks it up, and it starts sprinting at us. And now the cameramen are dialing, they're like 400, 350. I'm just back to zero, but now I'm too low. So they're trying to adjust the legs. I go like this, 2 buttons, get my height, put the freaking bullet end to end through that antelope, right through the front shoulder, came out the back rear ham, 200 yards. And it's just 2 buttons. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's just so quick to do. And you're not having to go and like adjust legs and like, it just works. And for me, like, I know a lot of guys are like, oh, it needs to have like push buttons for legs to spring out. I didn't want that on this. I might make an iteration at some point, but like, I don't want to press a button and that thing springs all the way out. You ever done that? And then you're trying to click it back in. So like with this one, if I have to make a little adjustment, it's just one little click right here at the heads, inverted legs, like all my stuff, you know, I can get that little adjustment right there and I'm done. It's right there at the top.
It's also quieter.
Oh, it's way quieter than that whole snap thing.
Yeah. Like, you hear the metal go ting like a Harris bipod.
Yeah, the
Harris. Freaking A, man. Dude. And the animal picks its head up, you know. That's silence matters a lot to me.
100%
on that kind of stuff.
And I mean, and I love, like, honestly, like that's the bipod I've been going with most over the last couple of years. It's been a Harris and going with the tall one. Then I can never shoot prone off of it, right? Yeah. But it's super loud and it's just not
ding like the rubber spring,
and you can't manipulate it, right? And like you press the button and then you pinch your freaking fingers on those things like crazy too. Yeah. But I mean, they make great bipods. Again, I don't want to talk bad about anybody, but it just doesn't do this.
Yeah, if you got a 50 cal and you just want to set it down and
you're shooting the bench.
But I feel like for backcountry, dude, this thing is unbelievable. First of all, I've used most of the bipods that are on the market, and they don't do it all. You don't get the height for the short stuff, and you don't get the height for the tall stuff all in one without paying pretty steep penalty. And then the way this thing just moves so quickly into positions and the versatility, it just feels like a whole different animal. You know, there's a few out there that we've used for years, like the Precision. They don't have a great attachment here. One of the things I liked about the Harris was you put some tension on the head there, and then it sort of spring loads it and really puts some nice tension in there, so you can lock on a target pretty quick, and it's fairly steady. And you know, when you're sitting inside, like you throw more of a saddle like this where you don't, but it doesn't clamp or anything, or you put it in, you slide one of those bipods in that just goes into a little plastic connector, and now it's wiggling everywhere.
There's lots loose,
You know, it's just the bipod scene has been, I would think
it's bench rest. Well, they're doing the same thing I talk about with photography to hunting. They're doing bench rest to hunting. And I'm going hunting. Yeah, you can use it on the bench.
Yeah,
so
that's kind of what
hunting
it is.
Focused, and they're doing it off the, and they're taking it from a competitive standpoint to the field, and it should be from a hunting standpoint that you could use it competitively.
Yeah, because it just doesn't have all the functions that you would want, and so you're always compromising in one way or another. Most of them that I still end up with a backpack, you know, and I'll take my trekking poles, you know, and I'll put the sticks together. Put it in there, a backrest for the rifle on on a backpack or something, or I'll put the stock in like the sling on my trekking pole, kind of up and down in the back while I've got it on some stick or bench on the front. And all of that takes so much time. I can think of probably at least 10 killer opportunities in the last decade that I could have taken an incredible animal if I could have just got the damn rifle set up in time.
Well, I mean, think about it. Like in the field, like you're going to be sitting on a hill we're always shooting cross canyon, right? I mean, that's like our thing, right? Like where we're hunting.
Except the worst I've had is Alaska, the bush.
It's so flat.
There's brush everywhere.
Yeah. So you gotta get your knees.
There's brush everywhere.
Yeah.
And so you're like, okay, I'm going to like, even if it's across the canyon, like a lot of our deer and bear country, steep, it's like, okay, I can sort of set up a bench and get a platform ready and I can take a shot without a good bipod or any setup. But anywhere where the brush is waist high, everywhere you go, grizzly bear hunting, it's a nightmare. Yeah. Like there are Kodiak Island, nightmare. Yeah. It's like the deer is right there.
Yep.
Like 75 yards.
You don't want to shoot offhand.
I don't want to do offhand. And it's like chasing a doe. And it's like, there is nothing I could, unless I bring like my big old timey Harris bipod with the legs, and that I've hunted with those 2 legs like sticking out like 2 feet ahead, and it's just like I'm slowly bending them down, and it's like this big coming down. I set it up, and it's like okay, and it makes you so much more deadly. But I don't want to carry that giant heavy.
And then what happens when you want to shoot prone? You know what I mean? Or you know what I mean? So it's like
that's not an option. Yeah. Now you're laying it on your backpack,
and the thing's just laying there. So that's kind of what I was going for with this, right? And then also, so I was obviously like field uses, and then I wanted to make it universal. I'm so tired of companies making it to where you have to buy a pick bipod and an Arca bipod, a short bipod and a long bipod. So I said, well, in a spike feet, rubber feet, like I want to put all that in there. So now all you do is take one screw and you can put it on your Arca gun. You know what I mean? Or $300, like it's a no brainer. And like I'm getting a lot of slack. Like I should be charging $400 for this, and we could. Like 100%, I could charge $400 for this thing all day, make it $100 a bipod. But honestly, I think I could sell 20,000 of these this year by having it at a great price and getting in people's hands. And I want to be like fair to the hunter. I want to be affordable. I want these guys to be able to afford it and have it on their pet rifle. Because I guarantee you, once they buy it, like every single person at this show that sees this puts a pre-order in. It's like you like it's a no brainer price for a phenomenal product, right?
Right.
And it's universal. It doesn't matter what gun you have in your gun safe. This will go on it, whether it be a freaking AR-15 or a chassis gun from MDT, or a chassis gun from, whatever stock you're running. It'll go right on there with the adapters we have, and you don't have to think about it. People don't want to think about that stuff. They don't want to I don't want you to have to go and do like research on how to get this bipod on your gun or I have to bring my stock into a gunsmith, have them install the stuff on there.
Machine it in there. And
they don't want to do that. So the average dude just has a sling stud rifle. So with this whole kit, they can put it on their regular rifle and shoot it. I feel like you're pigeonholing yourself by making a product that only works on Arca or only works on pick. You know what I mean? Like this kind of gives them the whole universal.
And it all comes with everything you need.
One kit, $299. One kit, done, dude. It's, and I mean, I put a lot of thought.
Seems like a lot of engineering and parts to be at that price point.
It is. Trust me, there is a fight with me and the partners right now because Nathan and Olin is like, dude, I can make you so much more money. Just raise the price $20. He goes, imagine if you sold 20,000 at $319.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I think too, because I feel like the value is way, way there.
It is,
but at the same time, at that price point, man, everyone could have one.
Everyone could have one, exactly. And I'm not saying that it's not going to go up. Like I'm getting a lot of pressure to bring to $349 maybe like this fall.
Yeah.
But I think right now, like in everyone's hands, $299 is a great price. And then you're going to save freaking 10% with Gritty, so you're going to get it for $270. You can help Brian out. So these are not like we do. Like we're running President's Day sale this weekend. These are not on sale. You know what? You can't get a sale on this on pre-orders unless you use code Gritty.
You know what's great about that too is a lot of people are like, I don't need a tripod, but they are dying to get their hands on a bipod,
dude,
a good bipod. So a lot of folks, when they get this thing and they see what a Tricer does, they'll move into the rest of the market, the rest of your product offerings.
Oh, dude, we have so many return customers. I mean, like I haven't had at this show anyone want to walk up and say your stuff sucks. It's just been like it's so strange to me. Like it's just like, dude, your stuff's incredible. I love it. It's changed the way I glass. It's enjoyable. So yeah, we'll get their hands on it.
Let me see these here.
Oh, yeah. So those are short legs. Those goes from 6 to 12. So with this right now, this long legs, you go from 8 to 30. For those, you go from 6 to 12. For me, like personally, I just run the long legs all the time. Like I'll probably never run those legs because I don't need a bipod for that. I need it for like these situations where I need to get high or be on a rock or, I just have hunted so long and I've realized like there's never a table with a chair behind it in the field for me to shoot off of.
Yeah.
Right. Totally. It's just not there. I mean, there are some there's sometimes you get those like perfect rocks that are awesome. But most of the time it's not that rock.
And I think of like our wolf hunt last year, Lampers and I, it was a sniper hunt is what that thing was. I mean, we were just set up at various locations, prone all day, rushed in. We had built this whole like blind on the ground out of whatever we could find. And then you're just sitting there quiet and stone still and freezing cold. And you're just sort of waiting. And there's a lot of guys who try these hunts. They're not very successful. And I think it's because they don't sit there like a sniper all day. They're not already in position. Like they're sitting up. They're not laying down. It's cold and miserable to lay on the ground all day till dark.
Hunting sucks.
Especially when it's like 0 degrees outside and the wind's ripping in your face. But you need to be in that position for that shot. And then, that whole thing, we had to adjust multiple times because the wolves would show up kind of in the wrong spot. We had to shift around this setup right here. And we were taking bipods on and off constantly. Yeah. And we were trying to get set up, and it was building that platform up for the moment. We just didn't have the versatility. I was telling Ryan, we kind of need just a better bipod system. Yeah. Better bipod system that allows us to do so much more than what we're getting out of this.
Yeah. The Predator guys are ecstatic because now, like, see, I have a sitting bipod. So you can sit down and now it's so light. It's 15 ounces. You can just pick it up, move over, and move. Cause like coyotes are wily, dude. Like they never come in like where you're pointing. It's always like off to your left or, you know what I mean? Or
that's how these wolves are too.
They come creeping over because like, you're hunting them, they're hunting you. So they're always trying to circle wind. They're always trying to do, and the wolves are like, I've never killed a wolf, but I know they're like 10x smarter than a coyote. Right. And so they're always trying to, you can't just feel like, oh, they're going to come right here. It's going to be perfect in that clearing. No, most time it's like you get a glimpse over here to your left out of the corner of your eye and you're like, okay, now I got to turn. With this, you can just turn it sideways, make that shot. So the Predator guys are just super excited for this thing, which is cool for me because I'm really trying to go into that space with some of these new products we're doing.
Hey folks, pardon the interruption, but I've got to tell you about this new Tricer RP bipod for your rifle. This thing is incredible. It's going to take the market by storm. You're going to want one. Everyone will. It's like no other bipod on the market. It's been designed to do everything in one bipod, which is generally not what we have available to us on the market today. Use the code GRITTY over at Tricer and you will save. Whether you're shooting from a prone or sitting position, this bipod adapts seamlessly to every field environment. You're going to get rock solid stability when it matters most. This bipod includes everything for $299. You've got the long legs, the short legs, you got spikes, you got rubber feet, Arca Swiss, Picatinny compatible, plus a swivel stud to Picatinny adapter, giving you unmatched flexibility for any hunting scenario. Bottom line, this is the last bipod you'll ever need. Use the code GRITTY over at Tricer.com. You'll get a discount and you'll get the last bipod you'll ever need. All right, let's get back to the show. So you've got the bipod.
Yeah, we should go into the HK first, I think, here. The next thing here. So we are trying to go into the shooting market, right? That's our goal this year, is to be in the shooting market. I went to Texas last year and got my butt handed to me because everybody in Texas is like, binoculars on a tripod, what are you talking about? Can you shoot off it, Yeah. Sorry, Texas. Whole different country, right? Yeah. And then I realized, like, yes, we're the kings of the West, right, when it comes to tripods. But from, like, the east side of Colorado to the East Coast, like, we're not very, very present. You know what I mean? So I wanted to design a predator tripod because right now what's out there is like all made out of plastic. I mean, like the stuff that's out there is like very gimmicky, and I don't think it's a great product.
Yep.
And like, I don't want to name names. There's one tripod in particular that like everyone buys for shooting off of. It's like a giant piece of plastic. I mean, like the tripod's made out of plastic, the head's made out of plastic, the clamp's made out of plastic. The legs are super heavy aluminum. They're not inverted.
Yeah. It's
just not a quality thing. And you're putting like a $5,000 rifle onto a $300 not great tripod.
Yep.
And so I'm like, I want to make
But it's kind of the best thing going?
Best thing going, yeah, 100%. So I'm like, oh, I can do that. So I took my GC clamp that I already have. I put that into a kit. We created the inverted ball head. This is the AK. It's the aluminum AK. Weighs like, I think, 5 ounces. And then we made an inverted leg tripod called the Tricer HK with our patented new push button locks on there with auto retract. It has the same leg diameter as the JC, so it's one size bigger than the AD.
Mm-hmm.
Super stable, weighs 39 ounces. The tripod, so you're all in, you're like 50 ounces with the clamp and everything on there. And we're selling this whole kit for $519. It's like, my goal is to have like the best predator, hog shooting, blind shooting, deer shooting setup you can get. Right? Because I mean, like, yes, you could shoot off all my other stuff, but it's made specifically for glassing. Then you could shoot. This is made firstly for shooting. Then you can glass.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's this. I have a feeling this will be my best-selling tripod because the shooting market is just so much bigger than the glassing market. Where glassing is a very niche thing, even though it's second nature to us. That tripod is going to crush. The predator market crushed
that is solid, dude.
And not only that, like it's like if you're doing NRL or some of these shooting competitions for $500, you can't beat this as an entry level tripod. Or if you're just a guy who wants to run, the head is phenomenal. It's just not quite my stainless steel competition head.
Yeah.
Right. It's the same head, but aluminum, right? Like I have a stainless steel version as well, the Tricer DH, which we're going to get into in a second. Same exact head, it's just aluminum. So it's just more lightweight, right? Like I don't want to put a 18-ounce head onto a 39-ounce tripod. I want to put a lightweight tripod so you can go out there and hunt off it. You can shoot standing off it.
Dude, it feels so good.
It's an awesome thing. And you know what a lot of guys are doing too is like they're running that head and then clamping an LP on top of it. And they're glassing with it. Because all my pan heads are Arca. So they'll go and they'll clamp an LP on there. Like they'll take off. It has that quick connect. So this head actually has, if you look at it, it has Arca quick release, and then it has Picatinny built into it as well on a knob here. So you can run, like if you want to run like a gas gun or something that has pick on it, you can put it right there. But then also you can go take like...
Without adding an adapter or anything.
Nothing, yeah. And then if you wanted to, you can go throw like your LP right on here, clamp it down, and now you're glassing in the field because a lot of guys want a shooting tripod while they glass. Now you have a glassing tripod. You go shoot something, pop that LP off real quick, put your rifle on here, and you've got a full-on like competition style shooting tripod with one throw lever, and you're deadly. Because I mean, like, I've never been a big like, oh, shoot off my like shooting guy for shoot tripods. I always try and I just shoot off different stuff, you know.
Yeah.
But I can't deny it. Like, tripods are the where it's going for shooting. Everyone wants to shoot off their tripod, so this is my way to come into that market. And honestly, without a doubt, this is the best predator tripod on the market now. And it hasn't even hit the market yet. It's just, it is going to go and crush. Like we're in Shields, it's going to go in Shields next to the other stuff. And I'm talking, that was like the plastic stuff. And they're going to be like, no brainer, $100 more. Like I'm getting that. Cause like,
you're going to force some people to adapt or die.
To adapt or die. Yeah. Well, I mean, like the thing is like, dude, like, it's like people buy like a BTX, right? $6, and then they complain about buying a $1,000 tripod. A BTX is worthless without a good tripod. You go and buy a, custom top of the line Weatherby, right? They're expensive, $3 or $4 grand. And then you shoot off a piece of plastic.
I know.
Like I would rather shoot the entry level Weatherby off of this than the expensive Weatherby off of a piece of plastic. Because like this is going to make you that much better. Your gun's only as good as how stable it is.
Well, and I've been a cameraman running cameras and long lenses and heavy lenses for a long time, and I have been a tripod snob for quite a while, mostly in form of stability and a fluid head. But I've gone away from fluid heads. They're just so much heavier and I don't need them anymore. At least not like I did. And, but the tripods out there a lot of the ones that have been out there have been so heavy and not very effective.
Because they're not inverted.
Yeah. That was a new thing that, I'd never seen before.
Yeah, I mean,
especially like where the bottom leg is so skinny. I didn't even extend it. As a rule, you don't, Brad. Hey, when we're using this, don't extend the last like 8 inches because it's too weak.
Well, so like that's the thing is like I could make a 16-ounce tripod, but stability is king in my book. So like if it's not stable, I don't want to make it. So my tripods might be, it's 26 ounces the BC, right? I could probably turn the BC around and make it, 19 ounces, but it's not gonna be as stable. So like it's pointless for me. What's the point of having a tripod if it's not stable? You know what I mean? Like, what's the point of having like, I don't care how expensive your gun is. If it's doing like one of those, what I'm talking about on a tripod where it's doing that like that 18-inch circle. If it's doing that, it doesn't matter how it'll shoot perfectly where you pull the trigger.
Yeah,
but it's gonna be off. You want it to be stable.
Yep. You're starting to get some visitors.
Oh, dude, what time is it? Oh, we're good. We're good. At least it's open. This booth, I'm telling you, like, we're in the worst location. It is a destination. This booth is like 10 deep all day long.
This is why people need to set up their booth next to a destination booth.
They need to be, like, we'll be in the middle next year, Western Hunt. All right, so that's the Tricer. And so you also to buy the head by itself for $199, I think. And you're able to buy the tripod by itself for $299. So, or you can buy the whole kit with the gun clamp for $519.
Jeez.
The whole kit's where it's at. You buy the whole kit, you got the extra gun clamp.
Yep.
And you might say, my gun has arc on it. Well, your kid's doesn't, or your buddy's does. It's just good to have, dude. You put your kid on this thing at the gun range, put his little 22 in there, dude, just smoking, dude. My 5-year-old's a psychopath. He's just out there like, as fast as I can load that 10-22, give him mags, he's just like, cock. Dude, I need to get him on a single shot. That kid just goes through ammo.
That's great.
So that's the HK. Let's go into more shooting stuff. So I want to go into the competitive shooting market badly, and I want to dominate that market. Like I said, we are now the official tripod of the NRL Hunter series. I'm dove headlong into this. Like I'm shooting 4 days a week. I'm building all these guns, just spending money. Cool. And I want to become, honestly, it's making me, dude, like shots that are 400 or 500 yards are nothing now. Yeah. Like once you start shooting competitively, like it's like going and shoot 100 yards in your yard every day, and then you go and shoot a deer at 30 yards, you're like nothing.
Well, and the gear is just so much different. It's so easy to use now.
Yeah, it is. And
with all the tools, like
the tripod.
Yeah.
So I want to be different. So again, we've been taking patents and doing things right. So I wanted to make a tripod that was super stable. So I'm like $500,000 into these tripods now. Ooh. We built a machine to make hexagon tubing. This tubing is 1.5 times thicker than any of the round tubing you see out here. So if you go cut this tripod in half and go cut it apart my competitors, it's gonna be 1.5 times thicker.
Wow.
It's with these 6 ridges on here. It's so much more. I mean, like, here, push on that. I mean, you cannot bend. It's like a freaking titanium bar. You can't bend it. So we have that. We have a patented leg lockout device built into them as well here. So you can lock your legs out so they won't shut for rear tripod support.
Oh, wow.
We have a patented push button, like I was telling you earlier. So instead of, here we go, this one, that one's locked out. Instead of having, a lot of the times these competitive tripods have like the pull out, and you got to pull it out and push it back in. I went to a push button because it's so much easier. So you can push it like that. And then it also has auto clicking right there. We put a patent on that for a push button. Nobody's doing that. There's somebody else doing it with the pull button, auto clicking.
Yep.
But
I hate that.
So we went to a push button, auto clicking, put a patent on it.
I hate the pull button.
Yeah. This is legs are locked out right now.
Out.
So,
that's cool.
And then so that we patented the twist locks, right? Because they're hexagon, right? So we have a patent on any shape. You try to make a triangle, you can't do it.
Why didn't people come up with this already?
Everyone does the pull, so everyone does the pull. I don't know why. I'm like, for me, like I want to be fast, right? I want to be able to go bam, bam. You know what I mean? Like,
and the pull sometimes gets stuck.
Yeah, or they pop out, and it's like you forgot to shut it. So we did that, and then at the same time, I want to be stable. So again, everything evolves, right? So we put weights into the JC, took the JC from 3 pounds to 7 pounds. So then we said, let's make some real weights.
Yeah.
So now when you buy, these are called the X1, X2 and X1. We have two tripods in the series. If you miss, you can go kill it with that. I mean, we shot 2 deer 300 yards last week standing up off these things. It's so stable. So you can go from 4 pounds, pick that thing up. See how light that is? Now pick up this one. That has all the weights in it.
Oh,
see?
It's a solid hunk of steel.
So like in the competitive space, like you're only walking, like my NRL match, 1 mile tops. My PRS matches are like within 200 yards.
Yep.
So you could add any weight structure you want. There's 3 weights here. See? It comes apart. So each leg you can add up to 3 weights to it. When you add all the weight to it, it goes to 12 pounds. But dude, like push on this. it doesn't move, right? Where this light one, see how the light one, I can move.
Oh, yeah.
I can move it.
Oh, believe me, like this is a dream for filming off of.
Oh yeah, you just don't want to. You just make Brad carry it. Hey Brad,
this is a truck setup.
This is a truck setup with the weights in, but you pull the weights out and it's super lightweight, right? So that's the X series tripod.
So these hooks.
Yeah.
What I took to doing like in Alaska and stuff when we're filming a bull moose in like the wind and it's just ripping a little bit of rain, but I can't be packing that around. I have a big bag down here and I fill it with rocks and then I hang it just to do what you're doing with those weights so that when I'm backpacking, I can get that stability because weight on a tripod is
it's like
powerful.
staking down a freaking easy up. Like you need that weight there, especially in the wind, keep everything stable. And I mean, honestly, this tripod here, we packed it around last weekend because it only weighs 4 pounds to shoot off of with no weights in it. It's still incredibly stable. My father-in-law can't get prone anymore. He's 76 years old and he smoked a Coues deer like 280 yards standing up. Yeah. I mean, like, would you ever shoot off a tripod standing up with a 30 nozzler? And with this DH head, so go on from the tripods. That's just the Tricer X2 and the X1. So, and yes, it's a phenomenal. Like if you're a Texas guy that wants you're gonna be shooting a lot, driving around, doing stuff, or you're shooting out of the side by side a lot. These tripods are phenomenal.
Yeah.
So now we created the DH head, which is an inverted ball head. It's lower to apex than any other head out there. A lot of the heads are a lot taller, so you lose some stability.
Yeah.
It has our lockout device for the Arca. Same as the aluminum one with the pick bolt built into it. It has more locking force than any head on the market, 50 pounds. And it is smoother than any head on the market. It's like butter, dude. We're out there at the range. We're shooting these little like steel groundhogs at 400 yards standing up the other day. And it's just like bing, bing, bing. You just, like, it's called a DH. I don't know if it means designated hitter. Or Doc Holiday. I'm like, both of them are so bitching. Like, it's either designated hitter or Doc Holiday. So whatever you want to call it. I haven't totally decided. I mean, another thing I did too with these, like just little details that we put into stuff. This head's Arca as well. We have on all these shooting tripods, there's 3 set screws on the tripod and 2 set screws on the head. So 5 set screws to lock this thing out. Because people don't understand, you put a 4-foot lever on this thing like a breaker bar, your head starts spinning loose. There's nothing worse than when your stuff comes loose.
Yes.
So we have 5 set screws on this thing. It is over-engineering, overthinking. So when people go out and shoot, they have confidence they're going to hit what they're shooting.
Yeah.
So that's the shooting line, dude. That's the X1, the X2, the DH, the AK, the HK, and then the Bipod, dude. I think we should go into like the last one would be the 360.
Yes. Show me that sucker.
This is I kept this one secret. I kept this one secret because I didn't want to take away from sales of other products. So this is the Tricer 360. It's a 6-ounce attachment that converts any tripod in the world to micropanning. And until you've micropanned and glassed or micropanned and filmed, you haven't lived. Like this will change your life for glass. This will make your optic, I don't know, 25% better. Cause all it does is, so it comes with 3/8/16, quarter 20 and an Arca on the bottom. One knob right here. And I'm micropanning this body scope.
So on this,
and this is,
I think what blew my mind when I got a micropan head from you and I had a big giant spotter on there on my big camera and to be able to we were Coues deer hunting this last year when we got it. And it was just, I could just like dial it in, like scan the area. And let's say the deer got up and moved and then rebedded. I don't have to undo the head, the tightness and like risk losing it.
Yeah.
And they're so easy to lose a Coues deer. So you just like, couple twists and you're there.
Yeah.
My elk hunt and my uncle and my cousin were there running it. And once they got their hands on it, they too had to have the micropanning.
Have to have it.
It's you get spoiled. And for film, it's brilliant because there's no shake. You have to minimize shake when you're filming. And so I want that animal to stay in the frame. That micropan just goes, and when animals are so far away, because I look at the travel in this and I'm like, there's not enough travel. You know what I mean?
It's so much travel at 500 yards.
It's exactly, because you only have to turn it at like a micro fraction of an inch, and it's exponentially
It just grows.
Grows.
Yeah,
the further.
it's 5 degrees every time you rotate this thing, right? So the cool thing is, like, you can run this, since it's arc on the bottom, you can run it on top of your pan head as well.
Mm-hmm.
So you can keep it in your pack and run it when you want to. I run mine on the bottom because all of my heads are Arca.
Yeah.
And then, like, let's say you are running someone else's head. You're running an Outdoorsman's or a VA5 or something. I have an adapter called the AA that'll convert your head to Arca as well. It's $25. You put it on the bottom of your pan head and tighten it down.
Yep.
Basically an Arca plate for a pan head. It's like a special design one that has set screws so it doesn't come loose on it. And you can put it on top. I like having mine on the bottom. That way I don't have to matter where, if you have it on top, it matters like where it is in rotation. Mm-hmm. And you got to kind of watch that. When you have it on the bottom, you can just spin your head wherever you want it and then go.
Yeah. I like that.
I like having it on the bottom.
Yep.
Like Cody Rich runs on top. He's weird.
Yeah.
Guys.
Because that way, like you just said, I can just twist it where I want it and then start going.
You can go this way and then start panning. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter where it is.
One of the things I would do and with my other head was I would like always get it set up so that it pointed the right way every time. So that, and so when I went to mount the optics to it, I'm like, okay, everything. So I could easily reach the knob without bumping
so the
into
knob's the other knob. Yeah, you have to like spin it. If you get to, dude, the beginning of the show, trust me, I have to, because people will keep spinning it. I'm like, you got to move it over here. Like you can see this one set up right.
Yeah.
So, dude, and like, I get the filming thing, but like for me, I'm a Coues nut. Mm-hmm. Like this makes you exponentially better at glassing. And like I find the most of my Coues, like believe it or not, is like that 10 to 3 window in the middle of the day because they're bedding down. And when you're glassing, you want to be able to look. You want to look through bushes.
Yeah.
And if you glass, you understand what that means. And when you're going fast, you can't look through bushes. When you're micro panning and you can just slowly rotate, because like you almost want to be stopping.
Yeah.
You can just be looking through bushes for that ear flick, for that tail.
Yeah.
Like, for the little.
It makes you a better.
G2.
It makes you a better glasser because it slows you down.
Yes.
But gives you like a smooth operation.
Oh,
and it's really difficult. Most guys are like, they got their head, it's got a little too much friction, and they're like jerking it a little bit as it spins left to right.
Well, that's not a Tricer head, but yeah, I mean, there's some other heads out there that will jerk like that.
But even so, it's like to get it smooth, you kind of want to move a little faster sometimes.
Yeah.
If you're going super slow, it's a little bit harder to get that smooth.
You're kind of like, I get 100%. And
so you guys end up glassing too fast. And I'm like, they're just like scanning, and it's like with this, you're moving the right pace. And I do like what you do. It's like I turn and then I just stare at it for a while. And I want it stone still because I'm looking for movement. Mm-hmm. That's what my eye catches. So I'm just sitting there. Well, if I'm moving and something else moves at the same time, you miss it a lot of times. But if I move, hold real still, scan the whole thing, incrementally move, looking. But when I first sit down, I just want to catch what's easy to catch.
You're going fast.
Right in the right open. So it's like, okay, got it. Just clear it all. Okay, now I need to go and pattern this thing again, but a lot slower. And you got the setup here. Yeah, like this thing right here.
It's $149. It's freaking cheap, dude. And I'm telling you.
Tricer 360 micro panning glassing attachment. This will go on anything?
It go on any tripod. So
everybody has to have one, folks. You have to have one. If you haven't had one, if you've not used one, you're missing out. You will not ever want to glass without it.
Yeah, it's like I have partners, right? And my partners are more money minded. I'm more like that innovative guy. And they're like, "You're going to take away from the JC?" No, I'm not. It doesn't replace the JC. The JC is built specifically for large optics, big camera lenses, etc. But what this does is allows me to put my micro painting onto my BC now and have a backcountry setup. And now I could put my LP on there and glass, right? And again, like you said, in the morning, I'm going fast. I'm looking everywhere. And then like once I have that kill covered, now I'm going to slow down and start looking because you'll be surprised. Like, dark timber, elk, middle of the day. Dude, you can just slow down and look into that dark timber, not at the dark timber. Some people are looking at the dark timber, not into the dark timber. You want to look into it. You want to be looking like 4 trees deep for that little yellow butt, right? Or that that bull's laying down and like that G2 sticking out the side of it, you know what I mean? And like, got you. Like, there's no better feeling than got you, dude. Like when you, especially Coues gear, that's why I'm a Coues nut. Like, when you find a Coues gear, it's like, I got you. It's like playing chess with those things.
Oh, yeah. But then also to keep your eye on it, they can disappear right in front of you.
Oh, dude, they disappear. You will have a Coues gear standing in the open on grass, and then you could be like, "Hey, Brian, I got one." And you look back and you're like, It'll take you a few minutes to find them.
Not only that, I mean, one time I was walking a buddy into a deer, you know, and I'm giving him directions, you know, and he's standing there, and I've got the deer in the optic, and I'm following it, and there was like 5 times where I'm like, my eyes were there the whole time. I'm like, where'd he go? He didn't move. He's still in the same spot. He just blended real quick, and I'm looking right at him, and I don't see him. And then he moves, and I'm like, oh, he's still in the center of the optic, like exactly where I saw him.
Coues deer can stand still for an hour. It's so funny. Like, it's like
there's no animal that statues up like that.
Dude, so the buck I shot last week, I saw this hunting story, right? Because we're kind of getting into this thing anyways. So I was with Shed Crazy. I'm going to throw him over the bus. And he missed a javelina 6 times. And he had just shot a squirrel at 420 yards. And he's like, dude, it's the gun. It's no way. I'm like, man, you're shooting off a tree. You're standing up. You're definitely not using a Tricer Bipod right now. Like, you're unstable, bro. And he's like, it's the gun. I'm like, okay, let's drive back to the ranch house. Go grab I had some steel targets. Let's go just shoot a couple, make sure you're good. So we go, I'm like, there's 8 guys on this ranch hunting right now, right? I don't want to mess up those other guys hunting. Yeah. So I'm like, we don't know where they are. There's no freaking cell phone service in Mexico. Yeah. And so I'm like, we'll go here. We're like, not that far from the ranch house. Draw an X on it. Dude, Ben just freaking wham, his stacks 2 perfect on the X. So like, it's Ben, not the gun, right? And he's like, well, let's just go back to 800. Let's go back to 800. And he's just like, whoa, and it sends it, and it's like a perfect shot. The wind gets him like 3, 4. I'm like, nailed it. And then all of a sudden, my buddy Cage comes running on the road. You guys, did you get him? And I'm like, yeah, we got him. So I guess like as we start shooting, this buck becomes now known as a target buck. Yeah. As we start shooting that steel, we stand up a good buck, like a 90-inch buck, stands up, a big 4x3 stands up behind us. And that wasn't giant, but it was a good buck for this trip. For this ranch, it was a good buck. His second biggest buck of the trip. Yeah. And they're like, no, you stood a buck up. We're serious. So we scared this buck up, and they're like, we're going to go this way with Ben. And I'm like, well, I'm going to go this way. And they're like, you're dumb. And I'm like, no, I'm not. Watch. And so they go this way with Ben, both of those guys. So shout out to me and not them. And I start walking up this hill, dude, and I get like not even a quarter mile, and I look up, and there's a statued Coues deer. He thinks no one can see him, just standing there in the open, standing there in front of a bush. And I'm like looking at him. I'm like, all right, dude, I'm going to put my pack down. If you're still there, I'm going to shoot you. Yeah. This is too cool of a story. This is too cool not to shoot you. We stood you up at the target. This is like 3 in the afternoon, Kima. This is like middle of the day. And I'm like, look, he stays there. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to get down prone on the new RP. If you're still laying there, I'm going to kill you. And he stood there the whole time, dude, until he wasn't standing there. Yeah. I put it right through both shoulders. That buck dropped right there. And they statue up and freeze. Do not move a muscle. Don't flex a muscle. Mm-hmm.
Last year, we did a couple of seminar events that were like 2.5, 3-day weekend events. We're doing those again this year. We're going to 4 different Shields locations, and we're going to do a seminar. Myself, Ryan Lampers, and Mark Livesay. One of them is a bear tour event.
Boise, Idaho.
The other 3 are elk related. Yep. So if you want to come to those events, they're in 4 different states.
Idaho, Montana, Colorado, and Texas.
There you go. To learn about it, we're calling it the Peaks Tour. Go to treelineacademy.net. Go over there, look up the Peaks Tour information there. You can sign up, come join us. Like I said, it's myself, Ryan Lampers, Mark Livesay. We're going to be at each of those events. Come, learn, and ask us questions. It was a hit last year when we did it, so I think you're going to enjoy this one. It's a fun multi-day event, and hope to see you there. Go to treelineacademy.net and look up the Peaks Tour. I have video of Buck standing for 30 minutes without even so much as an ear twitch.
Yeah.
40 minutes.
Wild.
Just standing there. And then they go, I mean, they're just frozen. And then they go, and then they stand another 30 minutes. Yeah. One micro movement and then another 30 minutes. You're like, dude, they are so cool with just freezing and not moving for long periods of time.
Dude, you have no idea how many Coues deer I have blown because I've convinced myself they're not in the bush 100 yards in front of me still. Yeah. And then, like, dude, like multiple times, like we had a buck 2 years ago with my kid. And I'm like, got him. He's in that ditch, in the grass. He's right there. We get over there. All I could find is a fawn and a doe. And we're sitting like less than 100 yards from these deer, dude. We're set up, prone, ready to go. Yeah. I'm like, dude, we got to move. We got to move. Just move. We move 10 feet. 15 deer stand up out of this grass. They were in the grass in front of us, like 15 deer, dude. We couldn't see them 100 yards, dude. And they stood up and just took off, blew the deer. And I'm just like, dude, he was there the whole time.
Yeah.
They're just so good. They're the ghosts, man.
They are.
They are the gray ghosts.
If you want to challenge your shooting, your glassing ability.
Yeah, and shooting ability.
And shooting, I
the
suppose.
Freaking German Shepherd with antlers.
They are so tiny, but they are a special animal. I wish more people took an interest because I've produced films around Coues deer, and it's just the audience for them is small.
Oh,
but,
you're either a psycho like me, or you're like, why would I do that when I can shoot a mule deer?
So I told you know how your partners are like, why are you doing this?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mine are like, why are you filming a Coues deer hunt, doing it at all and making a video out of it?
Yeah.
Part of that is because that audience that appreciates that animal is rabid. And so
it's the Lord's deer. It's the Lord's deer. Like, it is the most beautiful animal God created for hunting.
So I am completely unmoved and uninterested in a Coues deer that's not like over 105.
Yeah.
110.
I wish I could say that because I just smoked a small one last week, dude. He just got it.
It used to be a little, I was excited to shoot anything, but it's like the giant Coues are among the most exciting animal for me, and an average Coues is the most uninteresting animal on planet Earth for me. Like, it's all about age.
I would shoot a 130, like that buck at Lamper shot. I would shoot that buck over a 400-inch bull. That 133 Ryan shot. It's that rare to shoot a buck that big. A 133 buck is like. I have friends who've hunted for 25 years, and
because other guys walk in the house and they're like, "Why do you have that little whitetail on the wall?"
Yeah, where's the whitetail from, dude?
And I tell Ryan, I'm like, "Look, you have to mount a buck like that.
Yeah,
you have to mount it because otherwise, the sheer magnificence of it is lost on the person looking at it.
Yeah,
because without the body and the head and shoulders, the cape to put in perspective what you're looking at, you miss it. You completely miss it. Same thing with a Kodiak Sitka blacktail, a big old Sitka blacktail with the double throat patch and the neck and the shoulders, like the cape. The beauty of that Sitka blacktail is the color of the horns and the cape and the body and everything that goes with it. Just by itself, it just looks like a little mule deer.
Unimpressive.
It's just
110-inch deer.
And yet it's magnificent when you have it, I think, mounted like as a mount. But Ryan's just all about schools and horns, so he doesn't have anything mounted.
I'm going to go to up there this year, go Sitka on blacktail.
Yeah.
We're going to do the fly-in. Pretty cheap, dude. It's not.
It is.
It's
still one of those super affordable hunts.
I mean, $800 round trip.
Yeah.
$1,500 to fly in, $1,800 to fly in. I mean, you could probably pull it off for $2,500 a person.
Same with New Zealand.
Yeah, I gotta go.
It fits in that same price tag bucket area. You know, most of your cost is, if you want to, it's just getting there.
So much of that stuff with the way. I mean, I hate saying
people
this
are
online.
just afraid. Men are. People are just afraid to go and try something someplace
with
foreign.
The way tags are going right now. Like, I'm really leaning towards some of these like exotic stuff. Like, I'm gonna go to Hawaii and just chase goats with my bow because it's like
there's so much opportunity for that stuff. And people are missing out on it.
Yeah, but please keep missing out. Please keep missing out on it.
Like Aoudad sheep. I'm not going to get a bighorn sheep tag.
No.
But I go hunt Aoudad in a number of places, and it's quite affordable and probably up there in the same level of rewarding hunt.
It's the funnest hunt I've ever done. Like, I did it in 2017 before it was hard to draw. We drew 4 of us through New Mexico, like a public land tag. We killed 4 sheep in 5 days. And like, I did 18 miles. Like, they're just like, those things, they're so fun.
The area they're in, the species, like
the same country that you're finding bighorns in.
You just have to wrap your mind around, like, I always do this with food too. I'm like, I could have ice cream full of sugar and junk and all of this, or I could have like homemade ice cream with no sugar and a few berries. Well, they're similar, but they're really different. One has, tons and tons of sugar and some chemicals in it and all that. And it's a treat, right? And the other one is like, all said and done, fairly wholesome, and it's just milk and egg yolks and some salt and a little vanilla. And it's like, I'm not giving up hardly anything. So that's what I say, like, you go on a tar hunt instead of a mountain goat hunt.
Instead of a Dall sheep or mountain goat hunt.
Mountain goat, I think it's equivalent, right? It's like, you're now doing something that might cost you $15,000 or $20,000 for like 3.
Yeah.
And the experience, they're almost like it's like my ice cream example. Like it's just in your mind what you think is better, but there's so many alternatives that can slide in and replace that thing at a much more economic cost and give you the same sort of experience and outcome.
Yeah, man. And I'm like a big, like, buy tags, not gear kind of guy, even though I own a gear company. Like, more so on, like, I think a tripod's the most important thing you can have. Like, a good backpack, a good tripod, good boots, like, get that stuff. That's most important. But, like, I would much rather you buy $1,000 rifle and then go hunt New Zealand than you buy an $8,000 rifle and then tell me New Zealand's expensive.
Yeah.
And then have that rifle sitting in your case. You know what I mean?
Like,
all the time.
I brought Brad's old diesel truck the other day last year, and I have like an old trailer that I converted into like something I could camp in. And, I would rather take that money and go do a cool hunt somewhere than own a bunch of stuff.
Or the flagship bow thing. Like these guys that buy a flagship bow every single year, but then don't go hunting because it's expensive.
Yeah.
A flagship bow, dude, when you're all said and done, is $3,000 to $4,000.
I think that mindset though, Drew, that's where a lot of people just want to
imagine
being going hunting, like prepare for the hunting. Like they enjoy the process, but they're the never doer guys. Yeah. They just keep planning, keep putting in, getting points, keep collecting, but they never pull the trigger. They never go.
I love I have a bunch of friends who are like big points guys, but they never hunt. And I'm just burning points in every state every year. I'm like, let's just go.
I have it too.
I'll burn 7 points on a 5-point unit just because I can go hunt deer. And like, yeah, dude, like you might go hunt the strip someday, but you probably won't. Yeah, I'm going to kill 15 mule deer by the time you get to that hunt. You know what I mean?
So much better.
So much better.
Well, dude, thanks for coming on the podcast. We're gonna push this really hard because this bipod, dude, wherever we put it. So they already stole it from us. They're showing it off. They're legit.
You're going to code Gritty, save 10% on your stuff. Dude, that bipod is the best bipod you ever buy. If it's not, call me because I'm telling you it is.
Gauntlet has been thrown.
It is the best bipod for hunting in the market.
Hands
down.
We're going to see you next week.
Oh, yeah. We're going to Texas, bro.
Heck yeah.
It's going to be a good time.
I'm going to show Drew how to shoot a bow.
Oh, yeah.
How good are you?
Not as good as you. I'll tell you that. I'll hit the pig.
We're going to do our bear tour event down there in Texas.
Elk tour,
yeah. And then we're going to go chase some pigs in the evenings or afternoons and for a couple of days, and that's going to be pretty cool.
It'd be really cool, dude.
I really love pig hunting, especially with a bow. So hopefully we might just pull out the rifles. I don't know, but I really want to.
Liv would say pull the rifle out.
Mark's
pulling the rifle out.
Mark will always take the easy route. He's soft now. I mean, he used to be a marathon runner and all that, like the Ironman. He's old. He's a little soft. He's a little soft. I'm here hours. He's still in bed, I think, probably this morning. Like, it's going to be, yeah. No, it's
the nicest guy in the industry.
I've seen,
hands down, the nicest dude in the industry.
I've seen Mark. Well, we threw him under the bus hard last week.
Oh, at the event, yeah.
That man can sling some lead and not hit anything. So his bow's not much different. When he killed, I'm just going to throw Mark under now. When he killed his big bull, he drew a great tag and he killed a nice bull. And he sent the pictures to Ryan and I. We were in Alaska at the time, and I'm like, "What? It was a nice bull. It was crazy looking, but it was cool. Like one horn.
Yeah, that one from this year. Yeah."
And I said to Ryan, I go, "I hate to say it, but that bull, there must be some insane story. The insane story to go with this, where that bull just had a death wish. Death wish. And there is, Drew. I mean, he pretty much, I think he shot it like 4 times. It just came back again for more. And each shot was not quite right.
Thank you, sir. I have enough.
Yes. And he'd leave and he's like, but there's still girls over there. He's limping half shot. And it's just like over and over until it died. I'm like, yeah, that about sums it up for me, Mark. And his son is a killer.
Oh, dude, Eli, I shot him a couple times now.
Yeah,
that kid can shoot, dude.
He smoked some deer. Everyone, every time I've been with him,
he's good at his bow too.
Yeah,
man.
His dad could take some lessons.
He got it from his mom.
He had to. Mark's intense and a goer, but he can't be bothered with like technical details.
Again, the nicest guy I know.
Yeah,
one of the nicest guys
I
in
love
the industry.
Mark. One of the best, my closest friends. So, all right, Drew. Thanks, brother. Folks, check out Tricer. Head on over Tricer.com. Use the code Gritty. check out the new Bipod. You're going to want it. And thanks for tuning in. Tell us what you think in the comments section below on our videos. We'd love to get back to you there and respond and interact. And we'll catch you on the next episode. Stay gritty.